Feel free to return to our channel at any time that he has no desire to dwell on the glamour of fame or the memories of arenas filled to capacity today. On the contrary, he is speaking up about the difficult but exciting onstage connection he had with guitar icon Jeff Becker. There was tension between the two during their cooperation, despite the undeniable musical chemistry they had for years. Conflicting egos and hidden animosity. Even though it was essential to his craft, Jeff Beck's difficult personality, rigidity, and perfectionist tendencies frequently estranged even his closest friends and family, including Stewart, from his legendary guitar talent. Stewart is now exposing the inner workings of their cooperation, showing fans a Beck characterized by control issues, creative chaos, and conflict that they hardly witnessed before. Keep this in mind. In the late 60s, a groundbreaking band called the Jeff Beck Group came into being, changing the face of rock and blues forever. Jeff Beck, the ephemeral guitar genius, and Rod Stewart, a voice with raw soul and potential for greatness, were its main members. Their innovative sound, which combined Stewart's passionate vocals with blazing guitar solos, was evident from the start, but tensions in their relationship were already clear. Their personalities clashed like thunder and lightning, yet their music flowed effortlessly. There were pros and cons to Beck's perfectionist personality. It did, on the one hand, inspire the group to create a groundbreaking sound. On the flip side, it established a climate of perpetual anxiety. Stewart was irritated because his contributions were frequently eclipsed by Beck's continuous demands and refusal to compromise. Beck became a nitpicker throughout rehearsals, and Stewart became visibly uncomfortable with all the attention. Their once fruitful creative partnership quickly devolved into an all-out battle. As the band's popularity grew, so did Beck's unpredictable antics. He had a reputation for going missing, keeping the rest of the band in suspense for days on end with no explanation. This lack of consistency was frustrating for Stewart. The group looked to Beck for direction, but his frequent absences made cohesiveness extremely difficult, if not impossible, to achieve. Stewart said it was like being on pins and needles the whole time, since she had no idea when Beck would explode or just go. Tragically, the band was about to experience a breakthrough in 1969 when the final blow occurred. Suddenly disbanded the group, taking Stewart and the other members by surprise, citing tiredness and unhappiness. Stewart saw it as a betrayal and a sign that Beck let his ego get in the way of doing what was right for the group. The Jeff Beck Group's breakup not only severed their collaboration, but also so tasked them with animosity that would endure for many years. During his time with the Yardbirds, Jeff Beck's reputation for volatility was as noticeable as his reputation for genius. After replacing Eric Clapton in 1965, Beck joined the band and immediately made an impression with his groundbreaking guitar techniques, which pushed rock music to new heights. He propelled the Yardbirds to unprecedented success with his groundbreaking use of feedback, distortion, and other unconventional techniques. His guitar work was groundbreaking, but the band was frequently on edge due to his explosive temperament. Offstage, Beck's aggressive personality made group unity nearly impossible, yet on stage, creativity thrived. When Jimmy Page showed around in 1966, things got even more dicey. One of the most ferocious and tension-filled guitar duos in rock history was formed when Page, who had been brought in initially as a bassist, quickly switched to playing guitar with Beck. On stage, the two guitarists complemented one another, their skills fusing into an innovative and exciting sound. Offstage, though, things were anything but amicable between them. As Page's star began to rise, Beck's inflated sense of self-importance, which had been a source of tension within the band, became much more apparent. There was an implicit competition between the two as Page, with his reserved self-assurance and strategic mind, started to attract the attention of both fans and industry insiders. Page was becoming more influential, and Beck couldn't turn a blind eye to her. Page's solid presence was in sharp contrast to Beck's erratic mood swings, which left spectators bewildered. Their toxic dynamic spread throughout the band as their tension grew obvious. One of Beck's strongest suits and worst weaknesses was his intransigence. When he insisted on doing things his way, his bandmates frequently felt left out or ignored. Beck wanted the band to go in a more experimental route, but Page and the rest of the members wanted to go in a more organized direction that would appeal to a larger audience. It became more and more difficult for Beck and his bandmates to work together as a unit due to these creative disagreements. The fact that Beck had an obsession with being flawless just made matters worse. As Beck insisted on precision from everybody, rehearsals devolved into protracted skirmishes, frequently becoming angry when things fell short of his expectations. Both his other musicians and the band's management were turned off by his explosive outbursts, and they were left to deal with the mounting problems. Under Beck's leadership, the Yardbirds kept releasing innovative music, but the pressure from behind the scenes was becoming to be too much. The situation had finally snapped by the end of 1966. Arguments between Beck and Page, who frequently found themselves on opposing sides of the discussion, were the norm when it came to creative judgments. Others in the band became more and more irritated by Beck's impulsive actions, while he saw the band's economic aspirations as a compromise of their creative integrity. During a tour in the U.S., Beck's annoyances reached a boiling point, leading to a string of confrontations that made his bandmates doubt they could keep working with him. His resignation was as sudden and conclusive as one would expect from Jeff Beck. His sudden departure from the Yardbirds left the band to continue without him. It was a much-needed break for Beck, who thought his environment had grown too restrictive for his creativity. The Yardbirds were already having trouble staying afloat, and this was just the latest setback. Jimmy Page, for all his charm and skill, found it difficult to fill the immediate vacuum left by Beck's departure. More than simply a chapter closing, Beck's exit from the Yardbirds marked a turning point in his career, one that solidified his image as an unstoppable musical genius. His impact on the band's sound was substantial, but the drama he left behind revealed that his genius was not without cost. As a reminder of the delicate balance between brilliance and volatility, Beck's departure was a bittersweet experience for his bandmates. Throughout his career, Beck would often leave a wake of broken relationships. His relationships with his collaborators would be defined for years to come, and they began with the Yardbirds. Beck's tenure with the band was evidence of his extraordinary skill and the difficulties of collaborating with someone whose personality was so rigid, fierce, and unyielding. There was a price to pay for Beck's status as a musical prodigy. He had a hard time keeping collaborators on the same page and frequently drove a wedge between them during his career. His obsession with perfection was important to his art, but his erratic moods left him creatively paralyzed. Engineers hated working with him, and musicians were sick of him. The joy of making music was supposedly eclipsed by Beck's constant pursuit of excellence, even in casual jam sessions with other musicians. The negative effects of Beck's temperament were felt by many, not only Rod Stewart. According to his long-term colleagues, he was the type of boss that wanted everything his way, even when it hurt the project. Although Beck's unwavering commitment to his profession was commendable, it did not allow for much opportunity for collaboration. Unfortunately, his high expectations caused several once promising collaborations to fall apart. The remarkable brilliance and heavy price that Jeff Beck paid for being so unyielding are both demonstrated by his career. His innovative and technically proficient guitar work reimagined rock music and served as an inspiration to artists all around the globe. His personality quarrels, however, frequently overshadowed his artistic genius. Beck painted a picture of a man whose perfectionist streak often drove others away from him because he couldn't or wouldn't commit to long-term relationships, which led to problematic partnerships and collaborations. Sharing the stage with Beck for the brief but explosive run of the Jeff Beck Ensemble was a life-altering and emotionally taxing experience for Rod Stewart. Although Stewart remembers the discomfort of dealing with Beck's erratic moods and constant demands, he considers Beck a mentor who pushed him to expand his artistic limitations. Although Stewart's solo career had its start in the trio, the tensions that developed between them were obvious. Though the passage of time has smoothed over their shared past, Stewart's introspection shows that the wounds inflicted by Beck are still not entirely healed. Beck is a towering personality with inarguable musical accomplishments, yet his interpersonal troubles are an integral aspect of his tale, leaving behind a legacy of profound duality. His colleagues found motivation and frustration in him, serving as a cautionary tale about how even the most brilliant minds can produce dimwits. The balance between genius and solitude is delicate, and Beck's life and work serve as a cautionary tale about the cost of unwavering ambition.